Ridiculous. I want to enjoy my success, not apologize for it.
Bravo, honey, bravo.
How do we even begin to describe Miranda Hobs? She's beautiful, successful, intelligent, and the group's resident cynic. Among the Sex and the City quartet, she stands out as the most rational voice. Her pragmatic, realistic, and at times pessimistic view of relationships reveals more than just how she approaches dating. It also reflects how she connects with those closest to her, especially her friends. Though sharp, fiercely independent, and undeniably competent, Miranda is also warm, loyal, kind, and dependable. She genuinely wanted to balance and thrive in romantic life with her professional ambitions, embodying the archetype of the modern big city woman, someone chasing both a cosmopolitan lifestyle and a high-powered career. That's why, although she was one of the less popular characters in the 90s, Miranda evolved into a fan favorite, becoming an enduring inspiration for modern women throughout the 2010s and the 2020s. Looking back at the 6 seasons of the show and the 2 films, keeping in mind that And Just Like That will be explored in another video, one question remains. Did Miranda end up with the life she never knew she needed? Or did she ultimately conform to the expectations placed upon her? Today, we're diving into the character of Miranda Hobs from Sex and the City, exploring what made her iconic and why she continues to resonate as a role model for women today. Miranda Hobs enters Sex and the City as a 32-year-old lawyer living in New York City with her cat. Early on, we learn that she's originally from Pennsylvania, a Harvard Law graduate, and as of the first episode, celebrating her birthday. She's clearly an attractive woman, often leaning into a masculine corporate style at work and a more relaxed, tomboyish look in her personal life, at least during the show's earlier seasons. As the series progresses, Miranda's style gradually shifts into something more feminine and colorful, reflecting the more domestic turn her life begins to take by the end of the show. Professionally, Miranda is a high-achieving, respected lawyer with a lucrative career she excels at. She is intellectual, grounded, and direct, qualities that shape both her personal and professional interactions. Known for her snarky, sarcastic humor, she delivers caustic one-liners that amuse her friends while also offering glimpses into her realist worldview.
If she falls over, I will never stop laughing.
Miranda is highly observant and intelligent, often making sharp, relevant observations that continue to resonate today. Still, not every remark lands well. At times, her humor feels off, coming from a place of preemptive defensiveness or insecurity. For all her self-awareness, Miranda occasionally struggles with tact. From the beginning, it's clear that Miranda is deeply attuned to the disparities in how men or women are treated, something she experiences firsthand in her male-dominated high-powered profession and in her dating life too. Her skepticism about romance becomes evident early on, particularly in scenes like her first date with Skipper, Carrie's friend, where her discomfort and self-doubt begin to surface. One of her early insecurities, for instance, is a tendency to compare herself to other women, most notably to models.
Cute doesn't cut it in this town. What's cute compared to supermodel?
But Miranda's insecurities don't stop at looks. They extend to other women she perceives as having what she lacks, especially those in traditional relationships. Her biggest fear isn't just being single. It's what that singleness symbolizes in a world where women are constantly told their worth is tied to being chosen. In Season 1, Episode 8, Miranda even jokes about ending up alone with cats, echoing her own anxiety about becoming the stereotype of a lonely middle-aged woman with no partner, no children, and no formal family structure. Unlike Charlotte, Miranda isn't desperately searching for a partner. Instead, she's grappling with the pressure that insists that she should be. Despite being surrounded by friends who are also single and thriving, the world continues to send her the message that it isn't enough. That message slowly seeps in and begins to shape how she sees herself and others.
You see? My hips don't pop. I'm a guy.
Though she dates and seeks genuine emotional connections, Miranda's true ambitions lie more in personal autonomy and career fulfillment than in conventional milestones like marriage or motherhood. And that perspective, rare for female characters on TV at the time, profoundly influences how she navigates both life and love. Miranda is the kind of friend you can call in times of crisis, but don't expect hand-holding and sugar-coated comfort. She's kind and understanding, but also one who will call you out when you're making a mistake or crossing a line. Her judgmental side, while it can make her seem neurotic or inflexible, also makes her someone you can trust to tell you the hard truth. That honesty is part of what makes her a great friend, even if sometimes leads others to misread her intentions, including her closest friends.
Does he only want me now because he can't have me?
Yes.
Take for example the moment where Carrie confides in Miranda about her affair with Mr. Big. Miranda responds with surprising composure, calmly but firmly urging Carrie to slow down and think things through. She knew that what Carrie needed in the moment wasn't validation. It was someone to ground her, and that's exactly what Miranda offered. But even she has her limits. When Carrie later reveals she plans to have dinner with Big, after all the chaos he put her through in season 3, Miranda loses patience. She delivers an uncomfortable truth in an equally uncomfortable way. She holds up a mirror forcing Carrie to confront her choices, and in doing so, she offers a piece of her peace. A hard-won honesty that, while difficult to hear, is rooted in deep care.
Wake up, Carrie. How many more times are you gonna go through this? He is bad for you.
And in return, she gets some honesty back about her choices.
The first sign of any little weakness or flaw, and you just write people off. My God, Miranda, you are so judgmental.
And yes, Miranda can be judgmental, as Carrie pointed out. She can be rigid and resistant when something threatens the stability and safety of herself or the people she loves. But this judgment often stems from protectiveness. Like a strict parent, she doesn't tolerate nonsense and isn't afraid to speak up when something doesn't sit right with her. She finds grounding in truth and clarity even when those things are painful. And not everyone around her is ready to face that.
He's just not that into you. So move on. Have a great day.
Who the hell asked her?
Not me.
Despite her tough exterior, Miranda shows remarkable tenderness in moments that truly matter. After a tense argument with Charlotte, who was upset that Miranda had considered ending her pregnancy, Charlotte later confessed her infertility struggles. Though Charlotte initially had avoided her, Miranda doesn't react defensively. Instead, she quietly walks her home, ensuring she's okay. It's a subtle but powerful expression of care, especially for someone who rarely wears her heart on her sleeve.
Charlotte walked all the way home, and even though she never turned back, she knew Miranda was behind her.
This hidden softness is something Miranda reserves only for people she loves the most. Samantha, Charlotte, and Carrie. And like Samantha, Miranda is fiercely loyal to her friends, sometimes to a fault. Her love is loud, sharp-edged, and occasionally abrasive. But the more vocal she is, the more real she is being, not just with others, but with herself too. This vulnerability becomes most evident when she allows herself to need others. That's something she rarely does, but we see it in her friendships, especially with Carrie, who, despite her flaws, often shows up for Miranda in unexpected ways. And eventually we see it with Steve, once he earned her trust and respect. Miranda approaches love and relationships much like she approaches life, with wariness, directness, and a healthy dose of pragmatism. While this no-nonsense attitude is a part of her charm, it can sometimes come across as blunt or even insensitive, especially to those unaccustomed to her style. By simply existing as herself, opinionated, assertive, and professionally ambitious, Miranda defies traditional societal expectations. She's not afraid to be argumentative or even aggressive when necessary, qualities she put to good use as a successful lawyer. But in romantic settings, those same traits often complicate things. She doesn't fit the conventional mold of what a woman should be, should look like, or act in relationships, and that makes her love life particularly difficult. This dynamic led Miranda to form a harsh opinion early on, that all men were awful. It was a protective stance, one born from disappointment and reinforced by years of navigating New York's brutal dating scene as a powerhouse attorney. A perspective even Charlotte highlights in the very first episode. As a result, Miranda meets new romantic prospects with sarcasm and skepticism. She's guarded from the start, which we see clearly in her interactions with Skipper. He's sweet, eager, and genuinely interested in her, but Miranda constantly rebuffs him in a dismissive, even crude way. Ironically, the more affection Skipper shows, the less respect Miranda has for him, seeing him as weak or spineless, even if that's not entirely fair. Her defensiveness, shaped by a history of rejection and romantic stability, leads her to push away those who treat her well, while often feeling drawn to those who don't.
I used to masturbate to a busboy who was rude to me once. What do you think that means?
This pattern plays out again and again in her relationships. With Skipper, she became interested only when he began pulling away, yet distanced herself once he showed renewed affection. This dynamic is a stark contrast to her later encounter with a high-power lawyer who was openly rude and aggressive. At first, Miranda found the intensity thrilling, until she realized that kind of hostility wasn't temporary and ultimately walked away. There's also an interesting contradiction between how Miranda handles emotional intimacy versus physical intimacy. In the bedroom, she can be dominant, even intrusive, occasionally crossing boundaries by introducing personal elements into her lover's experiences without their knowledge or consent. It suggests a level of control she seeks in sex that contrasts with her discomfort around emotional vulnerability.
And here, I thought that all you really wanted was a good spanking.
Excuse me?
You heard me.
A defining example of this discomfort is her relationship with Steve. He entered Miranda's life after a deeply humiliating experience where she unknowingly dated a married man. Still reeling from that betrayal, Miranda was emotionally guarded. Steve, in contrast, approached her with playfulness, sincerity, and emotional availability, qualities she found disarming. He wanted a romance-centered relationship, but Miranda, like Samantha, used sarcasm and cynicism as a shield to protect her feelings. Romantic gestures make Miranda uncomfortable. They expose the very vulnerability she tries so hard to suppress. She often runs from moments that feel too raw or intimate. Yet when she does allow herself to let her guard down, even momentarily, she feels everything she's been protecting herself from. The joy, the fear, the love, and the pain. Those rare moments make her experience with love all the more genuine and deeply affecting, though they are harder for her to process given her personality and emotional defenses.
We belong together.
Oh, Miranda.
Yeah. So I picked a huge fight and threw him out of my apartment.
Good thinking.
Although it was important for Miranda to soften up and allow herself to be loved in a way her more skeptical side wasn't prepared for, I wish that arc had been handled with more care, and with greater loyalty to her core identity and aspiration. After all the conflict she had with Steve, and given the fundamental differences in their values, lifestyles, and visions for the future, they didn't feel like a relationship built to last. While opposites sometimes attract, Miranda and Steve were so fundamentally different that sustaining a truly fulfilling relationship felt unlikely, despite the love they clearly shared. At her core, Miranda is a cosmopolitan woman, driven, dominant, opinionated, career-focused, and fiercely independent. She thrives when she has the freedom to manage her time and resources on her own terms. Watching her settle into a more submissive traditional role, especially one catalyzed by Steve, felt inconsistent with the woman we came to know. While emotional growth often required compromise, the transformation felt too much like surrender rather than evolution. From the beginning, the gap in their lifestyles and aspirations was obvious, something that even Charlotte pointed out.
But you're talking about more than a difference in income. You're talking about a difference in background and education.
Miranda initially dismissed it, but that very disconnect was what led to the first breakup. And even after they reconciled, those differences never truly disappeared. Miranda noticed them and she felt them. In truth, Miranda's ideal partner would have been someone who both shared her emotional, intellectual, and financial sensibilities, and who could offer a calming, supportive presence at home. someone who didn't require her to sacrifice her independence or her urban lifestyle to find personal connection. Her story could have been paralleled someone like Princess Carolyn from BoJack Horseman, a woman supported by a partner who respects her ambition and empowers her to live fully in the world she built for herself.
Please believe me when I tell you I love you, Princess Carolyn.
Steve, for all his warmth and sincerity, wasn't that partner. He's emotionally present, dependable, and undeniably in love with Miranda. But even in their second attempt, Miranda remained hesitant. And with good reason. Steve could be childish, irresponsible, and often oblivious to Miranda's boundaries. He pressured her to move in soon after getting back together, proposed having a baby just 2 months later, and reacted poorly when she voiced her very reasonable concerns. To his credit, Steve did eventually grow. He opened his own bar, began taking care of his health seriously, and stepped up more as a partner and father. But it's important to note that most of his growth came only after Miranda pushed him to. Left to his own devices, he would have likely remained in his comfort zone.
You kidding me? This whole thing was your idea. You always told me I should start my own bar.
Miranda gave up a lot in her relationship with Steve, often out of fear. Fear that something better may not come along. Fear of being alone. That fear, rooted in societal pressure and personal insecurity, nudged her towards a life she wasn't truly ready to live, at least not with him. There was never true quality in their relationship. Steve may not have noticed, but Miranda couldn't ignore it. Much of their early dynamic was tinged with pity. Pity that Steve didn't have a better job, a nicer apartment, more confidence, or a timeline that matched hers. It often felt like the show was pushing Miranda for wanting more than the conventional life, rewarding her ambition with a baby and a partner who represented a return to domesticity she had spent years resisting. And yet, rewatching the series reveals a genuine evolution in their bond. Miranda and Steve deeply care for each other. They challenge one another in meaningful ways. Miranda helps Steve become more grounded and practical, while Steve softens Miranda, showing her that love doesn't have to come with conditions or performance. Most importantly, he demonstrates that she can be loved exactly as she is.
Oh God, Steve, it's gross. Help me, it's gross.
Right, relax. I'll give you a hand.
He may not be a core shaker, but Steve was there when she was shaken to the core.
Steve never stopped loving Miranda. Even after they broke up, he welcomed her back into his life with kindness, whether as a partner or simply as a friend. Though clumsy, anxious, and occasionally lost, he's there for her when it matters. And for someone like Miranda, who believed she'd always have to do everything alone, that mattered more than she expected. Today, Miranda stands as an aspirational role model for many of us who seek to live a single, self-sufficient life for as long as we can. Despite the show's very defined and undeniably 90s angle on relationships, career women, and gender roles, Miranda emerged as a fan favorite over time. Initially framed as too sarcastic, bitter, or emotionally unavailable to be fully likable, she ultimately resonated with audiences precisely because of those traits. Miranda was portrayed as a realist, someone who either never believed in romantic love or was too afraid of its vulnerability to pursue it wholeheartedly. Instead, she chose a path of personal achievement, earning her law degree, making partner in her lawyer firm, buying her own apartment, and cultivating a life centered around independence and close friendships. Her hyper-independence, directness, and clarity of purpose made her admirable, especially as a woman who didn't wait for anyone to hand her what she wanted. But that strength also had a shadow side. Miranda often pushed away comfort, affection, and emotional support, possibly without realizing how deeply she needed them. Her independence was empowering, but it was also shaped by anxiety about being alone. At times, her choices were guided less by personal conviction and more by fear. Fear of inadequacy, fear of missing out, or even present societal pressure to have it all. This conflict was visible in moments like when she pretended to be a lesbian to gain approval from her boss, an act born not from authenticity but from insecurity and a need to be perceived more favorably.
Yep. Definitely straight.
Yeah. You are.
Sorry.
In the end, Miranda's journey is both empowering and cautionary. While her independence, ambition, and emotional realism makes her a modern icon, the compromises she makes, especially in her relationship with Steve, reveal how even the most self-assured people can be influenced by insecurity and societal pressure. Her relationship, though full of warmth and care, often asks her to give up pieces of herself in exchange for emotional safety. Miranda deserved a narrative that honored the life she built and the person she truly was. Complex, capable, vulnerable, and worthy of love that didn't require her to shrink. Her arc reminds us that while love and connection are valuable, they shouldn't come at the cost of selfhood. And perhaps the most aspirational thing about Miranda isn't her independence or career, but her ongoing journey to figure out what she truly wants in her own terms.
I drink coffee and have sex and buy pies and enjoy battery-operated devices. If you can't deal with that, I will find another housekeeper who can.
Thank you for watching. If you like this video, like, comment, and share. Bye bye!